mic off. Can you guys hear me okay? Mic check, mic check. Good morning, Dune fans. Good morning. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. Because my headphones aren't working this morning. Might have some sand in it, if you know what I mean. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me. If you can, good morning, y'all. Dune fans, audio is awesome. Thank you, Rims. Good morning to you, by the way, and everyone in the chat. Sweet November, good morning to you. My man Justin, how we doing? Maxine, what's up, everyone? What's up? Good morning, good morning. So listen, y'all, I'm on Dune trailer alert. I have it popped up on the other tab here, and keep an eye out for it, man, because I am very, very, very excited for this film. If you all do not know, my name is Elliot, number one. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the channel. We cover a lot of movies, TV shows. We host live streams for various different shows throughout the week. And my two favorite genres is horror and sci-fi. And when it comes to sci-fi, there is no sci-fi like Dune and Frank Herbert's novel, and it is such a huge inspiration to a lot of my favorite sci-fi and a lot of you all's favorite sci-fi. You know, Star Wars was inspired by Dune, Star Trek, and so many others. So I am very much a fan of this lore and the mythology. And just a pre-warning, my knowledge around this IP stems off one thing, and that is the movie by David Lynch in the 80s, which, you know, not the best movie, but at the same time, understanding some of the behind the scenes issues, kind of understand how it came to be, crunching all that great lore mythology into a film, in one film, studio interference, and David Leitch kind of being new to the directing scene. But he's one of my favorite directors, by the way. But that was definitely one of those higher studio situations that just mucked up the whole film. But I was still, even with that movie, which I still believe, if you've never seen the first Dune that came out in the 80s, it's still on HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken. The thing about the film, even though the film's not that great, you can see the rich mythology and the lore and everything they were trying to build in that film, even though the film wasn't that great. So that's what I was always attracted to. And then as the years went by, I saw it when I was like, I've seen the original many, many times, but kind of as I've gotten older, I did more research on Dune and learning more about Arrakis and the Spice and Paul Atreides and the whole different, the Harkonnens and all the different homes. So as I gotten older, I've come to really love this lore and mythology. And then what was this, 2021, if I'm not mistaken, or 2022 to 2021. Sorry if it's a little glare there. Denis Villeneuve, who is my favorite director working in Hollywood, is, it's him, Christopher Nolan. Of course, I have my favorites, Spike Lee and, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese. But as far as like in the last 15 years or so, Denis Villeneuve had just become my guy. And when I heard that he was directing Dune, I just knew he was going to knock it out of the park. And listen, I know the criticism from people out there that wasn't the biggest fan of the original or the first one that came out 2 years ago. I get it. It's cerebral. It's a slow burn, but I appreciate that. I love high, a thinking man sci-fi, as well as like an action drama. We don't get too many action dramas nowadays, right? There's action, there's suspense, and there's a mixture of, comedy and action. But as far as just like the political, the scheming, the plots and all the stuff that they have in this world, and it's just such a rich world. I really fell in love with this film, and I cannot wait for this sequel. And listen, I don't do a lot of trailer reactions like I used to do when I first started my channel, just because the art of trailers have kind of lost the magic for me. Every now and then I'll do one for a Marvel film or horror film I'm excited for. But I definitely had to do one for this because if you've seen my list of most anticipated movies of 2023, you can watch the video to see where this particular movie landed. Let's just say it was pretty high. It was pretty high to bring me here today to watch this trailer. Now, it is 9:57. I am on their official Twitter page, and I don't see the trailer yet, but I'm going to keep it pulled up. And once it comes up, we'll go ahead and react to it and look at the awesomeness. And I'm so excited, man, for this new film because it is just, number one, it's following up. It's part two, right? And Denis has come out and said that, the reason it's part two is because it's not necessarily a sequel. It's literally following up minutes after the first one, which I love that concept and that idea. And from what I remember from that David Lynch film, there is a lot to explore in this second half. And also, again, the research I did from the novel, haven't read it, but very familiar with what goes on in the second half of this film. It's going to be a lot, man. There's a war coming. There's some new characters being introduced: the princess, the emperor, a nephew, a furious nephew that we'll be meeting, played by Austin Butler. In the the cast. First off, the original cast with obviously Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya as Shani, who's going to have a lot more to do in this part two. Of course, Oscar Isaac was fantastic. I love Rebecca Ferguson. Jason Momoa. Gurney by Josh Brolin. It's just the cast is great. And then you come with a part two, and then you bring in Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Christopher Walken as the Emperor. Mind blown. Celia Du. I mean, the cast is just ridiculous, y'all. It is so crazy. And I'm so excited to see what this trailer and obviously what this film has to offer come November 3rd, later this fall. But let me stop babbling on and see what you guys are talking about in the chat. And again, I'm going to keep, and if you guys see the trailer pop up, just let me know. I'm going to try to keep it out of the chat and refresh this, the Dune official Twitter page. I would imagine it'll come on hopefully around 10 or so, but we will keep an eye on that. Oh, actually, it tells us here it's in an hour. Okay, so we're gonna have an hour to kill. Cool. Hey, I'm your host for today. We'll make it work. Because I'm looking on their YouTube channel. I guess it won't be appearing to an hour from now. All right. Well, I guess we will be on here for an hour talking about Dune and just checking in with you guys in general. So with that being said, let me get to this chat and see what's up. Rims, again, I appreciate you. And again, we have 42 people watching live. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are a fan of Dune, if you're a fan of sci-fi, a fan of Denis Villeneuve, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Florence Pugh, I mean, on and on and on. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. Share the stream for anyone else that you know love talking about Dune and sci-fi in general. And let's have fun, man. Again, we're going to be here for at least another hour until the trailer premieres, and then we'll obviously break down the trailer. So we're going to be here for a little bit. I'm excited to be here with you all. But go ahead and like I said, like, share, continue to drop in your live comments. But remember saying I am so excited for this. Plus, this movie's coming out on my birthday month. That's awesome. November. It's a win is a win. Yes. And hello, Elliot. Well, hello to you, Rims. And November is a great month. And we are less than 6 months away from your birthday month, as well as when Dune comes out. Florence looks awesome. This whole cast looks incredible. I can't wait to see the look of the Emperor, played by Christopher Walken. I haven't caught let's see, Maxine saying, I haven't caught Alive in a minute. Hey, Ellie, well, I'm glad you're here, Maxine. Appreciate you stopping by, showing some love. It's good to see your name in the chat. Maxine was saying, I have missed his take on writer's strike. I looked earlier, but didn't see anything. Like my take, or like an actor or director's take? Because my take on it is, I stand by the writers, and I can't wait for the producers and studios. I believe Netflix was the one that held back, so I'm waiting for them to get their what in gear, because without writers we don't have any of these things, Dune and TV shows and all that. So I stand by the writers for sure. We said what's up to Justin. How we doing, man? Let's see. Let me see. You guys said the audio was good. Thank you. Maxine, I thought the Severance probably been affected. If they have, so and again, this is in the realm of sci-fi as well. In a way, Severance is a science fiction drama for sure. Man, I saw the article last week, Maxine, regarding not only the writer's strike, but there's some issues behind the scenes with Severance, with the not the but the showrunner, and I believe one of the head writers or something like that, where they're butting heads, and I think one of them walked away. So that's not good for Severance, man. I think we're gonna have to put our waiting shoes on for that one, and it might not come back till next year if they got to get a new showrunner and they're going to put their spin on it. So that sucks, man. I love Severance, and it just work environment, man. You got to have a healthy work environment and like the people you work with. So but a lot of behind the scenes stuff. XX is saying, I didn't know it was going to be a 2. Let's go. Yeah, man, you had to. You saw it. Did you see this one, X? Did you see this one? Because how it ended, that definitely was the appetizers for the dessert, or I should say the dinner that we're getting later this November. So it's going to be very, very awesome. Hey, what's going on, Diva? How we doing? Let's see here. The Geek Ledger. Have you? I have not seen the sci-fi miniseries, but I heard it wasn't the best. So I guess I'm not missing much. But let me know if you've seen it. And if from what I've heard, the David Lynch film is better than the TV series. But let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. So yes. I agree. I agree. Rams, I'm telling you, that cast is, like I said, the original cast was phenomenal, and bringing over the people that survived, obviously the first one, and then attaching the Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Christopher Walken, Celia Dew, and all, just so much great talent involved. And there's a couple other people too that they brought to the cast that is just I'm excited to see. So yeah, man, it's gonna be an amazing cast to see on the big screen. Yeah, we got another hour. We got another hour before that trailer drops. But let me know in the chat, guys, for you all that have seen the first one. What score did you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? And listen, I know the film, like I mentioned not too long ago, I know the film wasn't for everyone. Narratively speaking, it wasn't the most, maybe action packed to some people. I knew it wasn't going to be action packed because, again, I'm familiar with the lore, and there was still some great action and still some great suspenseful moments, but it was definitely a setup film for sure. But let me know how you guys felt about the first one on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you rate it? For me, when I did my top 10 movies of that year, I believe it was my number 2 of 2021. I'm trying to remember. I think it was number 2 or 3 for me that year. I can't remember exactly what spot. Now I know that particular year was it wasn't my number 1 because I believe that was the Green Knight that came out that year. So, but yeah, let me know, what did you guys rate part 3 or rate part 1 when you saw it, and if you've revisited it since then, if the score went up or went down, let me know. Let me know. What's up, Marty saying Dune 3? Well, hey, Marty, we'll see what happens with Dune 3 because I know there's a couple other novels that they can explore. I believe one of them is The Messiah, and there's a couple other ones that get super weird with like cloning and stuff like that. And so, yeah, man, I would hope that we would maybe get a follow-up to part 2 because there are still stories to be told with Paul Atreides and everything going on with Arrakis. So we shall see. We shall see. I can't wait for Dune or part 2 and Max's Dune, the sister. Yeah, the sisterhood. Yeah, that is a great point. Thank you for bringing it up, Geek Ledger, because that is a film or a TV show that has been in the works for a little bit now. I believe they have a full cast. I believe they have the show writers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they've shot or went into production. So I am very looking forward to seeing what that is all about because something that very much fascinates me is the sisterhood and just their powers and their abilities and all that stuff. So I'm very much so excited to see what that show is all about. And I can't remember if they said it's going to, because obviously this film's coming out first. So I don't know if it's a prequel origins of the sisterhood, if it ties into, like I mentioned, the Messiah. It leads into a Dune 3. So I'll be very curious to see what the timeline and what we're covering in that series. I'm not too familiar on what the story is going to be quite yet. I'll let YouTube autoplay a bunch of Rebecca Ferguson interviews and fella. Listen, Rebecca Ferguson is awesome. She is an incredible actress. Man, what was the first thing? I think the first time I ever come across Rebecca Ferguson was a very terrible movie with Emily Blunt. The Girl on the Train, I think was the name of it. And she played the wife. It was like it's a movie about like an affair that goes on and goes wrong, and it's like a whodunit mystery, and it was just trash. But she was, from the little bit of screen time she had in it, she was great. And then from there, I just kept seeing her pop up on things, TV shows. She was great in the Mission Impossible movies. She was fantastic, obviously in Dune, but she was so great. And, I mentioned horror is my other favorite genre. She was great as Rose the Hat and Dr. Sleep, and she's just fantastic. So I am very much a fan of her. She does a lot of great interviews too. She seems like she's just focused and embracing the conversations. I've seen a couple of junkets with her, and she just seems really great. And then I was just recently watching, there's another sci-fi show coming to Apple TV Plus, I believe on Friday, called Silo. And I watched the first episode the other night, and I don't know. I gotta see what the attraction is for that show. I might cover it or not. The first episode was okay, but she's in the show. It's another Rebecca Ferguson project to look forward to. So yeah, I'm a big fan of hers for sure. Maxine was saying I didn't know about it sucks. It sucks. That was my favorite show last year, and it sucks that they have all this drama going on for it seemed like such a great team of creators. You would hope that they're all be on the same page, but stuff happens. Definitely do part two feels like there needs to be, yeah, like I said, just from what I know, there's so much more story to be told. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if we do get a part three and more spin-off series and the Messiah book and all that different stuff that they have in the lore. So I'm hopeful because I'm really, really a big fan of this IP. Yeah, make it a trilogy. Make it all right. So we got some scores. We got 9.5. We got JC, I rated it a 10 out of 10. Nice. I love it. What my man Justin saying? I think I got like 4 or 5 more. Okay, gotcha. So hey, give it to me. So 2 to 3 movies per book, potentially, Justin. I'm here for it. Again, if the second one's successful, if the audience demands more stories to be told, if the show is good, then hell, HBO, let's make it happen. I mean, look, you got a stellar cast with Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet, with Shawnee and Paul Atreides. So, I mean, that's a franchise just waiting to happen with two. I would say Timothy Chalamet, to me, I don't know if he's quite a household name quite yet. Like I think of, I'm thinking of Zendaya, I'm thinking of her significant other, her partner in Tom Holland, who I think Tom Holland is obviously known for that big IP with playing Spider-Man. But I think Timothy Chalamet, this might be a year that really puts him, like us film fans know who Timothy Chalamet is. I think he's a fantastic actor, but I don't know if he's necessarily moving the needle or bringing people into the seats quite yet. But I think after Dune Part Two, and after Wonka, I think people will he'll become that household name. And then I would say Zendaya is definitely a household name just from a lot of different reasons. She has different hands in different sectors of fashion, entertainment. From she does music. Obviously, she's a great actress. She's in one of the most popular shows in HBO's category right now with Euphoria. So and then of course she's in the MCU as well. So I would say that those two, Timothy Chalamet still becoming a household name in my opinion, but Zendaya's already there, and then of course like I said, the rest of the cast. So I would love to see them continue to build on the lore of these characters. Action movie. I love the first one. Great. I gave it another 10. Let's see here. Who else had some scores? We got November. See, this is why I rock with y'all, man. Y'all know some good movies when you see it. I love it. Denis Villeneuve has talked about potentially adapting. Okay, I didn't know that. He's open to the idea of making this a trilogy. Listen, you've been dropping some great nuggets today, Geek Ledger. So I appreciate that info, and that gets me excited. So go. Hopefully, we all go see Dune. Well, I know I'm going to see it this November. But hopefully, it does well because I think the first one, again, knowing that it came out in the height of the pandemic and it was that HBO Max in theater release. If I'm not mistaken, y'all, let me just do a quick little double check with the box office results. But I'm pretty confident in saying that this one did. I want to say. Am I crazy of saying that the first one might have did like 700 million in the pandemic? Let me see. So, oh no, I was way off. The first one here, let me share the screen with you all for those that are just curious, like I was. The first Dune that came out again in the pandemic, it came out in September, right in the height of it. It made 402 million worldwide, which in 108 domestically, which again, if you take into account what was going on during the world, that it came out on HBO Max at the same time, that's not bad. If I'm being honest, if we weren't, if it was just normal circumstances, I feel like it could have made 700, if I'm being honest, with that number, or maybe even double, to be honest with you all. So I don't think it would have made a billion, I should say, because of the IP, and it's kind of a niche type of science fiction story. So, yeah, I think if this was in regular circumstances, 700 to 800, which brings us, I guess, and let me know in the chat as far as any box office fans like myself, predictions, y'all. What do you predict that the new Dune Part 2 would potentially make in the box office, with it now being, we're back in theaters. We have our first summer movie slate in over 3 years, or almost 4 years, right? We haven't had a normal summer for movies since 2019, because obviously 2020 and 2021 and last year was just, so it's been like 4 years since we've had like a summer release slate. But neither here nor there as far as this goes. Let me know in the chat, what do you all predict that Dune Part 2 will make in the box office? If I'm not mistaken, as far as competition goes in November, I know the Marvels is coming out in November, and I think that might be the only like bigger release coming out that this fall. Let me see right quick. Let me pull up another another tab here to see what competition we have. But again, as I'm looking that up, put your predictions in the chat for what you all think that this new Dune Part 2 could make coming out this November. So let's go to November. So we obviously know, and let me see how that looks for you guys. If it's not too small, let me zoom in a little bit. Here we go. So we know we got Dune. Again, the next week is the Marvels. The next week we have the Hunger Games, Napoleon, which I know is going to be an Apple TV, but I know they're going to put it in theaters for a little bit. We got Disney Wish, and that's it. So I mean, as far as like, so there's no other science. Well, I guess Hunger Games has a little. Well, I don't know. I've never seen a Hunger Games film. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's science fiction. It's like a YA drama. But yeah, I don't think there's too much competition for Dune as far as it being science fiction and the cast that it has. Of course, you have the Marvels, which is superhero in space, following the $1 billion of the first one made. So I don't know. I'm going to put my hat in the ring. I'm going to say that Dune Part 2, and of course, knowing that they're going to have screenings and critic screenings to create that buzz. And depending on today's trailer that we're going to be getting on the top of the hour, and depending on the marketing, and knowing that you have this younger cast that can also has their own platforms. Like, I don't know. I think Timothée Chalamet is online as far as like Twitter and Instagram. I don't think he's that like active, but someone like him who has an audience online can push the film. Zendaya is going to promote the hell out of it, and I think Warner Brothers really has their hedging and bets with this one. So I think the marketing is going to do really well. So I think Dune Part 2, as far as the box office results, and maybe that number will change after I see this trailer at the top of the hour, based on the first one, I'm going to throw in Dune Part 2 is going to do, I'm thinking tentatively right now, 825. Am I crazy in saying 825 million once it ends its domestic run, its worldwide run? 825 million. Is that too much? Is that too high? Is that too low? Let me know. And also, like I said, share your predictions in the chat. Let me know. So let me get back to the chat, see what you guys have been talking about. Let's see here. Justin was saying this is based on the scores again, that originally it was a 7 on the rewatch several times. That's awesome. Justin. That is awesome, because there's always things you can pick up on a second and third rewatch. Dune was my number 2 to 3. Yep. Yeah, I think it was my 2 to 3 as well. It's a prequel, 1,000 years. Okay, Geek Ledger, are you actually Denis Villeneuve secretly coming in with so many great nuggets and information? I appreciate you. Thank you. So that's the prequel. Awesome. I love it. Maxine gave it a 9 out of 10 for Dune. The sound of the dialogue was difficult the first time without captions, but it's really, yeah, I'm trying to, so I got the opportunity to see it in theaters during the pandemic for a screener. And I remember I was in awe of the visual spectacle of it all. I couldn't remember. I think audio wise, I was okay, but I know it was a little hard. Some theaters aren't the best audio studio as far as audio goes, but yeah, that's awesome. 10 out of 10. Rewatching the political side of it. Mission Impossible. Okay. Introduction to her was Mission Impossible. Gotcha. Let's see. Yeah. Listen, I watch everything with closed captions for sure. Yeah, she was great in Dr. Sleep. Rims coming through, showing some love. Thank you, Rims. She said that, let's see, just sending some support your way, my guy, especially since I've been out of the loop with Succession. Oh, it's been good, Rims. Grateful to have your content and can't wait for your breakdown discussion for part 2 as well. Can we say hyped? Well, listen, Rims, thank you so much for the support as well as the great comments there. I really appreciate you. You are definitely missing out on some great Succession episodes. Can't wait to hear your thoughts once you're all caught up. And of course, I have my my breakdowns, and I'm really excited to see you if you watch the breakdowns, leaving your thoughts in the comments on those episodes. But thank you, Rims. I really do appreciate you. And also, this is complete, not random, but kind of coexist with just being grateful for you all. And we'll probably do another live stream in the coming week or so. But thanks to you all being thankful for you all in this community. We've recently crossed 50,000 subscribers, man, which is a number that just I still haven't wrapped my mind around. I really haven't sat down and processed that yet, but we will be having like a live stream, and I'm going to probably combine it with like doing a summer movie preview with you all, like a live stream breaking down all the new releases coming out this summer, what we should be excited for, maybe doing some predictions for the box office receipts for those. But like I said, to that note with Rims, and just being appreciative of all you all that's been a part of this journey so far. Hitting 50K is just so mind-boggling to me, and I really thank you all for that. But again, Rims, I appreciate you, and I thank you for that kind support there with the super chat. Thank you very much. Shout out to you all. All right, Maxine saying Dr. Sleep is on my list. Might go ahead and watch. Listen, Maxine, and I wonder, I don't know which version, because there's two. There's a director's cut that Mike Flanagan did, and there's obviously the theatrical cut. I'm not sure if HBO, which one they have, but definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the The Shining, obviously the novel from Stephen King, but also the Stanley Kubrick film, which is one of my favorite horror films ever. And man, what Mike Flanagan was able to do with that, to not only do a sequel to a movie that the author Stephen King didn't like, but also doing a follow-up to the book, adapting the sequel of the book. I mean, he did so much. I love Dr. Sleep. It is so great. I love it so much. Is Dr. Sleep on Max? If so, why? Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it is, because it's a Warner Brothers project, and they have like their whole library on the app. So definitely. 8.9 only. I don't know, because I had to wait so let's see. I'm gonna change your name to the geek. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say something about being so knowledgeable. The geek knowledge. I don't know. Yeah, there's 6 books in the original Dune series of Frank Herbert, but his son Brian Herbert also written 9 books in the series when his father passed. Wow, that is a lot of material. That's great. That is so great. There's so much lore to dive into. I love it. Let me see. We got some more Dr. Sleep conversation. Not on Matt. What? What? I believe you, but I'm shocked that why did they take it? I mean, I know sometimes not as weird. Why would they take off? It's their own IP. It was a Warner Brothers produced film. What the deuce? You're right. They got The Shining on there, but they don't got the. That's crazy. I would imagine it has something probably to do with some weird licensing thing. They probably co-produced it with someone else, and they can only have it on Max for a certain window. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, if Marvel's is only competition, then 500 million. Hopefully, it gets 8. But Disney always gets premium screens. Yeah, that's true. The Hunger Games. Yeah, I've never seen the Hunger Games, but I know that this is a prequel, and I haven't seen the trailer, so we'll see. We got 650 to 750. I think it'll do better than Part 1 Marvel, but Marvel's is a big opponent. Yeah, I think, and it was the very next week. I think that there's obviously a crossover with science fiction and having to be action in it with Dune Part 2 and then the Marvels. But I don't think there's going to be as much crossover, if I'm being honest. So, and I hope they're both successful, but we shall see. Again, based on the trailer in less than an hour, we will find out. Dune is one of the few movies I see in that. Yeah, I mean, that's like I don't want to say a must, but it's like it enhances the experience when you see it in IMAX, because it's on that scope and scale. People were hot last time because Zendaya was such a big part of the promotion and barely in the film. That is true. Shani was just really much in Paul's hallucinations and dreams, and she only was like her in the story was only in the last 15 minutes. So I understand, but she will be more heavily involved from her own mouth, and Denis Villeneuve, and just knowing the story, she will be more involved in the second one. So definitely looking forward to getting more Zendaya screen time. I was honestly thinking, Michael, that's a big, I thought my number was big, which was 825, but a billion, that's a tough task, man. I mean, I think a lot of us don't really It takes a lot to make $1 billion, especially in today's climate of people still trying to get used to going back to the theater. And of course, the window of movies being in theaters have been smaller and smaller. So it's tough to make a bill. Obviously, the most recent one was Mario, and that took what 3.5, almost 4 weeks. But understandably so, that was much more of a PG or G or PG rated, it's, kid friendly film for everyone to see. So yeah, I think a Billy is going to be hard to come across. It's going to take a while before we start to see those films getting to that benchmark. If it's not like a super big event film like a Top Gun Maverick or Avatar or an Avengers type level movie. So I don't know what the next. I'm not confident and even suggesting what the next $1 billion movie would be this year. Like, I don't see the Marvels doing $1 billion. Obviously, I gave you guys my predictions on DUNE Part Two doing under $1 billion, 825. I mean, Fast X has the possibilities because they're prior to the pandemic. Fast 8, 7, 6, and I want to say 5 made $1 billion. So I mean, they have the track record of hitting those numbers. So, and then I wouldn't be shocked if Little Mermaid does $1 billion just because of the IP and obviously the fandom behind it. Obviously, there's haters out there, and I think some people will hate watch it just for the fact that they are just want to hate on things. But those might be the only films I can see doing $1 billion this year. I'm just kind of curious on what the Fast Fury, Fast. Okay, so Fast 5 didn't do $1 billion, but I think 6, 7, and 8 did, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think as far as $1 billion goes, potentially Little Mermaid. I don't see Indy 5 making $1 billion, if I'm being honest. I think that's going to be like 600 to 700. But Little Mermaid, potentially Fast X. I don't know if there's any other kid friendly. I don't think there's a Despicable Me movie. I think that's coming out next year. Yeah, I don't think Aquaman's going to do $1 billion like it did in 2018. So yeah, I think for the rest of the year, for my predictions, Little Mermaid potentially and Fast X potentially. But I think Fast X is, I don't want to say it's a lock, but I'm pretty confident that it's just going to do crazy numbers. But we'll see. We'll see. Let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think? What movies this year do you think can potentially cross that $1 billion mark? Oh, you think it's low as far as my prediction? So let me know, sweet. What was did you give your prediction yet? Let me. I don't know if I saw your prediction yet. For the box office, feels hype around the movie is really big. 8 milli is fair. I saw it at home once it was streaming. Not upset to see the first one on IMAX. Yeah. This movie deserves a bug screening viewing, like a big screening viewing. Listen, don't get me started on Blade Runner 2049. One of my favorites that year, man. Another Denis Villeneuve cerebral sci-fi film, which don't hate me. Don't come at me. I'm going Blade Runner 2049 over the original all day, every day. I am not the biggest fan of Ridley Scott original Blade Runner. I appreciate it for what it did for the genre. I appreciate what it did for just, innovative science fiction narrative. I'm just not the biggest fan of the story and some of the performances, but I can appreciate it for what it was worth. But if it wasn't for the OG, we wouldn't have gotten the sequel, which I absolutely love. But yeah, shout out to Blade Runner, man. That movie should have did much bigger numbers, if you ask me. No, I'm used to entertainment journalist. I didn't know that. Shout out to you with the great entertainment. I'm gonna have to check out your content, Geek Ledger, and see what great articles and commentary you have, because based on the stuff, and I think I've seen your name in previous chats before, but I'm gonna have to see based on your commentary today. I'm pretty sure all your articles are fire and great and informative. So shout out to the Geek Ledger, being a great journalist, dropping some nuggets. I'm gonna have to check out your content, man. That's really cool. Yes, it is. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, you guys are awesome. See, you guys are. What wakes me up every day to do this, to do these streams and these videos, is just being a part of this awesome community. So I thank you all so much. That Sleep actually made The Shining much, much better. Some could say that for sure. You get more context and more backstory in the follow-up of Danny, and all that stuff. So yeah, no, two great films. Thanks for the heads up on the different versions of Doctor Sleep. Knowing that before watching the Blade Runners was critical too. Yeah, there's definitely so many different versions of so many of Blade Runner. It's crazy. Mayan in the building. What's up? Hello, Elliot in the chat. Always great to see your streams. Well, thank you, and it's so good to see you as always. What am I Flanagan say? I'm pretty sure Mike Flanagan is spearheading a Stephen King universe. He's making The Dark Tower into a show on Amazon Prime and has plans to use Pennywise as the bro. Let's go. That's another universe that would be really cool to see. I never read The Dark Tower because I know it's takes like 5 years to read. But I do know everyone that is a Stephen King fan, they nothing but praise for it. And I know a couple years ago, didn't NBC or someone try to do a adaptation of it? And it had a good cast like Alexander Skarsgård and Cynthia Erivo and a bunch of other great talents, but I don't think it did that well. But and also to the film didn't do that well with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. And I just know it's such a huge undertaking. But if anyone can do it, I have my faith in Mike Flanagan. He has some of the best horror content of the past decade. From a film perspective, I love Oculus. I already talked about my praise for Dr. Sleep. Big fan. He did another film, Hush. Hush was a really good movie. Kate Siegel. And besides that, his TV shows are excellent. The Haunting on Hill House is, bar none, movie, show, you name it, some of the best horror I've ever seen in my life. The Bit Neck Lady, the sleep paralysis. I love that family trauma and drama within that show, and it has one of the best jump scares I've ever seen. And then, of course, Bly Manor, gothic drama, which was good. And then Midnight Mass, excellent. Wasn't the biggest fan of the Midnight Club, which, by the way, I reviewed all those shows on the channel if you guys want to get my thoughts on that. But I'm very excited to see what he does with. He has one more Netflix project before he moves over to Amazon, which is The Fall of the Usher, I think, which he said is one of his scariest and best written shows that he's done. So I'm really excited for what you're saying here with Mike Flanagan, Pennywise, Dark Tower, bringing in a Stephen King universe on Amazon. Sign me the hell up. I'm here for it. I am here for it. I don't know, Nina, I don't know if it can cross the Billy. I know we just got Tom Cruise. He saved the theaters with Top Gun last year. But I think the highest grossing Mission Impossible film, which I think was Fallout, which was fire, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it crosses, what is that? So that one did 791. This is the high, if I'm not mistaken, this is the highest grossing Mission Impossible film. And for some people, it's the best. It's my second best. My favorite Mission Impossible film is Rogue Nation. But so 791. Ooh, a Billy. Let me know if any action fans, if you all think Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is going to do $1 billion. Oh, that's tough. Top Gun Maverick has that momentum. People are excited to see Tom Cruise, as they always are, because he's the legit movie star. That's a good one. I didn't have it in my $1 billion club, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'll just say that. But let me know, any action fans, if Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning could do $1 billion. Let me know. That's a good call. Let's see. Midnight Mass was nice. It was nice. It was very depressing and sad, but it was nice at the same time. I love that show. Haunting on straight fire. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I could not agree with you more. I don't have any videos up yet. I made this YouTube channel a few months ago. I was let go from Screen Rant last year after they had some layoffs, but thanks for your interest. Oh, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure you're going to bounce back because you seem to, like I said, very informative. Know your stuff, and I'm sure anyone will be thankful to have you on their team writing some great articles. So I'm sure you'll be back at it at no time, and I'm excited to. I'm gonna have to subscribe to your channel after this stream, and I know you still don't have any videos, but once they're up, man, you got a supporter here. So shout out to you, Geek Ledger. I'm very excited. So many people excited about. Yeah, what's going on, Vera? It's been a long time. Good to see you. Good to see you. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I said Mission Impossible 7, because Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun, or Mission Impossible 6 was so good. Just throwing it out. No, you're right. You're right. Like I said, the interest that people have in Top Gun Maverick and Tom Cruise as a brand right now is definitely at an all-time high. And don't get me wrong, Mission Impossible is great. it's one of the few franchises, in my opinion, that like each film is better than the last one. Even though, like I said, I personally prefer Rogue Nation over Fallout. But Fallout it's literally like, just depends on my mood or the day of the week. I can go Fallout over Rogue Nation, but just a great franchise, and I'm really excited for this new one. And knowing that it's a part 2 is crazy. It's crazy. Yes, Justin. Friendly reminder for all my 39 people watching live. Definitely hit that like button. And also, let me just check. I know I said it was going to be 20. All right. So for those at home that are just like, who is this dude? What is he rambling about? Where is this damn trailer? So just let y'all know, this is the official Twitter account from Dune, and this is their YouTube channel. As you guys can see, they will be premiering the trailer in 25 minutes. So in 25 minutes, which is 10:59, the trailer will be available, and we will react to it and break it down and get hyped for it. So yeah, so I will keep that in mind. And right now I am just chopping it up, having a good time, talking movies with you all until we get that trailer, which will be hopefully fire. All right, so okay, prediction. Mission Impossible 7 will make about 900 million, and Mission Impossible $1 billion. That's some predictions, because honestly, we just go back to, so we know that Fallout 2018 made $791 at the box office. What did Rogue Nation make? Because each film I know has made more than the previous one. So Rogue Nation, let's pull out the numbers here. Let me stop that screen and share this box office results, and we'll get back to Dune too. By the way, I love talking all movies with you all, but we'll get back to the excitement of Dune in a second. So 682 was what the previous film made, and then we went to 682 to 791, so almost 110 million more than the previous one, which is always great. Going in Rogue, what did Ghost Protocol make? Okay, so not a huge jump. So what was it, 692? What did the last one make? So it actually made less, right? Rogue Nation made less than Ghost Protocol. Yeah, by almost 12 million. That's interesting, because I think it's a better film. Interesting. So just based on the logic of Rogue Nation to the most recent one, Fallout, so 790, so 100. So I mean, the next one could, I mean, if the trajectory continues to go up, if we can maybe just have minimum 80 to 100 million, puts it at 890 or so to maybe 9. So you're not too far off, Geek. You're not too far off, my friend, for sure. All right, so let's get back. We've been talking about horror films and action films. Let's get back to the topic at hand, which is Dune, baby. Which is Dune. So we talked about the box office of the first one, which was 402, knowing that it was the pandemic. The critical response and the audience response, I believe, was pretty good. Let me pull up some Rotten Tomatoes for you all. Which again, I don't put too much stock into Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm also someone that understands how it works. I know some people just, I don't want to say are confused, but some people have their issues with Rotten Tomatoes and don't understand how it's like an aggregated site of how it actually works. But yeah, the first one, 83% on 498 reviews, and 90%. I'm pretty shocked by that audience score, because I just know, just from people that I've interacted with, that I consider to be just general audience that go to a theater every 3 to 6 months sometimes, unless it's like a big movie that they're excited for. But 90% is legit, man. Because again, a lot of people that I've just spoken to weren't didn't hate the film. A lot of people I know appreciated the filmmaking aspect. They thought it was, boring and not as entertaining as they wanted it to be. So I'm really surprised by that 90 on an audience score. So that's exciting, man. For a 2.5 hour kind of cerebral science fiction action to do a 90, that's not bad at all. So as far as this new one goes, I think that there is a lot of momentum behind this film, especially when we see this, what I hope to be an epic trailer. And I think that Warner Brothers is definitely going to market it so well. And just knowing that you have, your stars of your film has their own independent or individual audiences, with Timothy Chalamet's stock continues to rise every day. Zendaya is just at a peak right now in her career, which is fantastic because she just seems like such a great person. And then you bring in people that have their own audience, right? You have Florence Pugh that has her own people that support her, and I'm one of them. I'm a big fan of Florence Pugh. Christopher Walken comes with his own audience and his own legacy. Leah Seydoux has her own audience that people, every time she's in something, you can just expect it to be fire. And, Austin Butler has picked up a lot of momentum in the last few years with obviously Elvis and getting that nomination for that. And he has, just in general, I know he's been building his own name brand. And I know he's been around for a while. I think he was a Disney kid, if I'm not mistaken. So bringing in new talent with an audience, bringing in, what you already previously had with a great marketing strategy. Yeah, man, I think this film is definitely going to have a lot of hype behind it. And I think after we see this trailer, it's going to go bananas. It's going against Barbie and Oppenheimer, I think maybe. Yeah, those are two films that are going to be crazy competing at the box office as well. So very, very good stuff. What the competition against? Yeah, I think those were the two because it comes out in July. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy summer, y'all. I'm excited for the summer lineup due to Top Gun momentum. Yeah, for sure. I think Dead Reckoning Part 2 will hit $1 billion. Just a combination of the last Mission Impossible movie and setting up Paramount Plus series. Oh, they had a series? I didn't know that. They have a Mission Impossible series. I mean, I'm not shocked because obviously it was based on a series in the 70s. But I didn't know they were going to do like a new series about it. Or are you saying that that's your prediction? Maybe that's going to set up a series. Mission Force. That's a pretty cool subtitle. But yeah, long live the fighters. Yes sir. We are 10 minus what's going on, Fate? We are T minus 20 minutes away from this trailer premiering, and I am stoked to see a couple things. Number one, I am excited to see how interesting this marketing is going to be, because I think the studio notes were that people have said in the chat earlier, the Zendaya of it all as Shani not being as integral in the first film. So I think they're going to take knowledge of that. And I anticipate to see a lot of Zendaya in this new trailer, her and Paul Atreides and stuff like that, and him learning and still studying to be a Fremen and to be, who he's destined to be. But I wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot of Austin Butler as Freed, as the Baron's nephew, who's just conniving and a marksman and a warrior himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of him. And then I would anticipate snippets of the princess played by Florence Pugh. I know we're gonna probably get a really cool moment with Christopher Walken talking to the Baron, and I anticipate a lot of action. I do think we're going to see some really good action sequences in today's trailer. And of course, a sandworm. We got it. I mean, the teaser that they put out yesterday showed someone, I think it was Shani, putting one of those thumpers in the sand to get a sandworm. And I wouldn't be shocked if the money shot, because when they did the first trailer, they had the sandworm coming out at the end chasing Lady Jessica and Paul. I would not be shocked if we see Paul riding a sandworm, because if I'm not mistaken, if you've seen the novel, if you read the novel, and if you've seen the 80s version, there is I don't know, this isn't a spoiler, but there is a moment where Paul Atreides rides a sandworm. So I think we're going to see that in today's trailer. And if I'm not mistaken, last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, when they had CinemaCon, they showed him riding I think the description of the trailer was that you saw Paul riding or at least learning how to ride a sandworm. So I think that's going to be the money shot. I think we're going to see him at the very end riding a sandworm, which is going to be mind-boggling. So you heard it here. Throw your predictions. We're 17 minutes away. What do you all predict we're going to see in this trailer? As far as who do you think is going to get the most screen time? And also, too, I think 2.5 minutes is probably a reasonable amount of time. As far as when I anticipate the length of the trailer to be, I would be shocked if it's like 3 minutes or longer. But I say 2.5 minutes. And again, I think we're going to get a lot of Shawnee, Zendaya's character. I think we're going to see her and Timothée Chalamet continue to build their relationship. I think we're going to see Freed, played by Austin Butler, probably doing some action scene or something like that, or just they're going to convey that he's someone that you should be afraid of. I think we're going to get quick snippets of Florence Pugh as the princess, probably talking to her father, who's talking to the Baron. And I do think we're going to get some quick shots of like action, because I know there's going to be a big action set piece, a big war, a big battle in this movie. And then, like I said, my bold prediction, if you want to call it that, is we're going to see a shot of Paul Atreides riding a sandworm. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. Let's see. Justin saying they got to hype Florence Pugh. She won't be in the film to the end. No, I think the princess is pretty interesting character. I think they're going to have her be a little bit more involved in the marketing, if I'm being honest. And I think she's going to be in the film, hopefully more than to just the end. Speaking of Florence Pugh, I love that thumbnail there, or your icon there, Aaron. What's going on? This will be a trailer that was shown as... so that's what I was just saying, Aaron. I think, because if I'm not mistaken, I didn't... obviously, they didn't release a trailer, but from what I remember from reading the description, that it was a pretty epic trailer that showed Paul riding a sandworm. So you might be right, because I can't remember the trailers that released at CinemaCon that released to the public. Was the Equalizer 3 and Disney's Wish, and was there anything else that was shown at CinemaCon? I think they showed the Flash trailer that showed at CinemaCon, but they obviously showed the Flash last week, the whole film. So I think those are the only three. So we might be getting what they showed last week in today's trailer, potentially. Hopefully more Batista. Yes, need some more Batista, always more. Also, as the and this isn't a spoiler, but they put it out there in the marketing, but Gurney's back. Gurney, Josh Brolin's character, is back. And if obviously you all are here, so you've seen the first film, it was kind of left up to the audience to be like, oh man, what happened to Gurney? Well, he's back, y'all. He is back. And I'm excited because I was a big fan of his portrayal by Josh Brolin, and him and Duncan, played by Jason Momoa. They were great warriors, man. And RIP to Duncan. But for those that are familiar with some of the source material, Duncan may or may not have more story to be told. Who knows? Who knows if we get that most of the novels. But speaking of, let's look at some of these photos, man. Again, as I mentioned, I believe we're going to get a glimpse or a scene or two with Austin Butler as Freed, who is someone you don't want to mess with, a very good swordsman, a very good warrior, and someone that is being lined up to take over the empire, as the Baron is teaching his nephew how the ways of being conniving and being a leader. So I'm very excited to see what Austin Butler has to bring to the table. And I know everyone's poking fun of his accent that he's carried over with Elvis. From what I've heard, he's dropped it. he's put it in the past. Everyone's going to be sitting on the edge of the seat to see if they can hear some of that cadence that he had there. So I'm really excited to see Austin Butler in a role. Speaking of excitement, Florence Pugh has just been, man, I think since 2017, she has just been with Fighting With My Family, and seeing her popping up in these, epic kind of, she was in Macbeth, if I'm not mistaken. She was in that. And then, of course, we see her now with Black Widow and Hawkeye, and she has been on a roll, man. I'm a big Florence Pugh fan. I think she's so talented, and I'm so excited to see her as the princess and seeing her portrayal in this film. Of course, we're getting the return of Rebecca Ferguson. You all know how I feel about her. I talked about how great she is earlier. Lady Jessica, man. And listen, for those that again are familiar with the source material and read the book and seen maybe the miniseries or the movie in the 80s, Jessica has a baby in those in the film and the book. So I'm very curious to know if that's something that they're going to maybe portray in this trailer is a baby, because that baby is pretty important. So yeah, something to look forward to in today's trailer is maybe Lady Jessica being pregnant and having the baby. Paul Atreides, of course, Timothy Chalamet. I'm really excited to see him take on a bigger, a bigger task this time around with more action heavy and getting more into his psyche with being the Messiah and all that good stuff, or being the chosen one. Of course, like we talked about, Zendaya is going to have much more to do in this second film as Shani. Very, very excited to see that. And just a couple other things. We got the poster here, which is epic and beautiful. Our two main characters. We got the Baron. I can't wait for him to get what he deserves. Doing what he did to House Atreides, he's going to deserve everything he has coming to him. Of course, we talk Dave Bautista, and oh yeah, you already know these two are going to come across each other, and I cannot wait. We got more still pictures of Lady Jessica here. We got my man coming through. Was it Steelberg, if I'm not mistaken? I'm forgetting his name right now, but I'm very excited to see what he's been up to. And of course, we're getting more of that romance between Shani and Paul Atreides. We got Leia Sadu. And this shot here looks so badass. So badass, man. I'm really excited for Austin Butler to see what he brings to the role, man. So Part 2, baby. Dune Part 2, November 3rd. And we, ladies and gentlemen, are less than 11 minutes away or 10 minutes away from the trailer dropping. We're almost here, y'all. We are almost there. But let me see what you guys have been talking about. Let's see. Let me go over to the chat here and see what we got. What was this here? They announced the series way back. It was supposed to be a reboot. Interesting. So it's going to be in the same universe, Geek Ledger? I did not know that, man. That definitely slipped under my radar. So it's going to be in the same universe, produced. I didn't know if Tom Cruise was going to allow that to happen, man. I know, he's so he takes a lot of ownership in these projects that he's a part of. So that's interesting. I'm very curious on if it's going to be a character that we've already met or a new character. That's going to be really interesting, man. I think that would be Paul. Yeah. I think that's going to be the money shot for sure. Geekly Goods, what's up, Leo, man? How you doing, man? Long time no see, bro. I hope you're doing well. You're doing your thing on YouTube, putting up some great content as always. I love that stream that you guys have every Sunday. I try to tune in or watch the replay when I can, man. So shout out to Leo, man, with Geekly Goods, dropping some great content on his YouTube channel. He was saying, excited to see your reaction, bro. Going to film mine and drop back. Oh, for sure, man. I appreciate you, Leo. Shout out to Leo. Let's see here. Yeah, showing that desert power for sure. Anyone see the Grand Turismo? I haven't. I'm gonna have to check it out because I heard it was surprisingly good. I remember last week wanting Austin Butler to play Superman. Now I want him Lex Luthor. Yeah, I don't want him playing Superman, but Lex Luthor would be interested. But it all just depends on, again, who they're casting as Superman. But yeah, I didn't see Austin Butler as Superman. I know there's Jacob Elordi and a couple other people in mind. So I think James Gunn's going to come out of left field with the casting of Superman. I just hope we don't get the creepy Twilight CGI baby from the film. Yeah, that was, like I said, that film was something else. She was a West Me in Midsummer great. Yeah, she's great in everything, man. I'm a big fan of her. Do we know if they're still planning on doing multiple? Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Aaron, that they, from what last time I checked, Aaron, that it's still in the works. They have a full cast. Matter of fact, let me pull it up here. Last time I checked, that the scripts were written and they had a cast ready to go. Let me see here. Sisterhood. Yeah, everything I know so far, man, is that it's still on par. Yeah, everything's looking good so far. From what I'm looking at online, that I think they've started production. Yeah, they have a director, a showrunner, And the production has begun, so we should be good, man. Hopefully in the next year or so, we'll get that sisterhood show. Javier Bardem, Stilgar. Yes, thank you for the correction there, Fate. Appreciate it. This is part 2 of 3, right? That's the question. I think that's the hope, right? Is once this film comes out, is successfully, critically well received, audience receives it well, it does good at the box office, and hopefully we can get, as Geek Ledger informed me later, earlier in the stream, there's not only 6 novels that Frank Herbert did, but there's also 9 additional novels that his son did, Brian. So hopefully we get more and more shows, more movies. I'm here for it, man. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are 6 minutes away from hopefully the best trailer of this year. We'll see. Very hopeful. Again, just for those that are just tuning in, I threw in my predictions earlier that I anticipate Shani being more involved in the trailer with Zendaya and Paul and their relationship developing. I hope to get to see, obviously Austin Butler as Freed and seeing him in the role, him interacting with his uncle, the Baron. Hope that we get to see Christopher Walken as the Emperor, maybe interacting with the Baron and interacting with his daughter as the princess. And I do anticipate some action sequences just to get people know, hey, we come with that action this time around. And I also anticipate to see, like I said, my bold prediction, if you want to call it that, is seeing Paul Atreides on a sandworm riding one into battle. That's my bold prediction. That's like the money shot. That's the money shot that I think we're going to end on this potentially 2.5 minute trailer. So, like I said, throw in any predictions or anything you guys have that you hope to see in this trailer in T-5 minutes. I can't wait, man. Hopefully, knock on wood, because I did a trailer reaction for the first film in 2021, and YouTube suspended the stream temporarily because I was playing a trailer. So hopefully I don't get taken down and we can watch the full trailer live on the stream. What's up, voices? MovieFiles. Which old series are you going to watch if the Hollywood writer strikes impacts falls winter? Wait, which old series are you going to watch? What is old series? I don't fill me in. Correct me if I'm reading that wrong. It says, which old series are you going to watch? Oh, are you saying like what? I think is correct me if I'm wrong, voice. Are you saying which show am I going to like maybe watch because there's not going to be new shows? Let me know if that's what you meant by that. I want to answer your question, but I want to make sure I answer it correctly. Yeah, they should definitely do more because there's so much material to come from. Blurred Forever with the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the super chat there. Who are your top 3? It's a great question. That is a great question. Henry Cavill. No, I'm not good at fan casting. I'll be honest with you, because if I'm being honest with you, I would have never picked a hat out of Henry Cavill's hat out of a name, And I think that's some of the best casting, is someone that you never anticipated, never really knew too much about. Like, I didn't know who Henry Cavill was prior to 2013. I think I saw him in one movie prior to Man of Steel, which was like some Egyptian movie, or not Egyptian, but it was it was like I can't remember the name of it. It was like a 300-ish type of movie. And he was also, I think he was in what was that TV show? Then the Tutorers, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't really know that much about Henry Cavill prior to him being, this is my opinion, the best Superman of all time. No disrespect to Christopher Reeves and disrespect to any of the other actors that have portrayed the man that symbolizes hope, but he is my favorite Superman. So I really don't have, of course I've seen all the names out there, and some of the mock-ups that I've seen look pretty solid, but I'm I'm hopeful that James Gunn picks someone perfect in a role, because I think every one of his castings so far has been a home run, from his Guardians films, which, by the way, if there's any Guardians fans, you can check out my review for Guardians Volume 3, and I have a lot of content coming up for that movie, but I think he perfectly casted the Guardians. I think he perfectly casted the Suicide Squad, and perfectly casted Peacemaker. So he hits home runs. So I'm sure that whoever he has in the role will be great. But to answer your question, if I were to throw 3 names at the hat in the ring, damn, top 3. that one kid, something Wolfheart or Wolfgard or something like that. The kid that I've been seeing online, he has the look. I can't think of his first name right now, but you guys probably know who I'm talking about. Wolfgang or something. He has the look. I don't know, man. It's gonna have to be a wild card. I wish I can answer your question, and I really appreciate the question, but I'm just terrible at fan casting, and I hope to be caught by surprise. Is really what I really want it to be. It's like I don't know who this is, but he seems to be great, and hopefully he is great. Whoever gets casted, and we'll probably know by the end of the year, maybe by the end of the summer. But thank you so much for the question. Let me know what 3 actors do you have in mind, and again, thank you for the super chat. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So going back to your question, let me see here. Yes. Which show are you going to watch if there aren't any new shows? Yeah. I got you now. Thank you for the question, Voice. There's some shows I got to catch up on. I know everyone talks about From. I know they're currently in season 2, so I'm going to probably catch up on that. And there's so many stuff, man. There's so much. I know Snowfall was a show that wrapped up that I can probably catch up on from FX. And those are 2 that come to mind right now. But great question. Let me know what shows you're going to catch up on. With our and from what I hear, I don't think the writer strike's going to be that long. I think from what I heard, it's going to be maybe like a month, if that. Timothy Chalamet. Okay. Emo Superman. Immortals. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. And I didn't see that film like, oh, that should be Superman. I would have never known. But he turned out to be a great Superman, in my opinion. Geek mythology movie. Yeah, Immortals. Yeah, thank you guys for the tip on that movie. Yeah, it was not. Who else was in that movie? It was someone else that was in that movie with him. It just wasn't good. My prediction for doing trailers: some people will be delighted, while others will be disappointed. Straight to the point, right? Do you think we'll finally get app? Oh, shoot! Here we go, guys. Oh, shut up. All right, y'all see it here. Let me hold on. Let me turn this. Well, not hear me. You can hear me. For the one in chat, you can hear the music playing right now from the trailer from YouTube, from the YouTube channel. Can you guys hear it? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the music playing from the trailer. Let me know. But all right, guys, we are getting ready to watch this trailer for Dune Part 2, baby. In T-8. All right. We're good. All right, guys. Let's react to Dune Part 2. Let's go. It's breathtaking.
When you see sand here, imagine water. You dive in.
You dive in.
Yes, it's close to me.
I don't believe you.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain. The end of House Atreides.
My father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive?
Here he is. Oh my goodness.
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
I told y'all.
Don't try to impress anyone.
All right.
You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct.
Money shot.
Nothing fancy.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
Yes. I love it. Oh, baby.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
Ooh.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and
Yeah.
shatter.
We didn't see Christopher Walken. I was hoping to get Christopher Walken. Okay. Interesting. We're gonna replay it here in a second. Just my initial impressions is that it felt like a little bit of a sizzle reel at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, a bunch of various shots, action shots. We're gonna play it. We're gonna replay it here in a second. But just my initial reaction is, it looks the action that was advertised. You see a couple sequences of the battle scenes, but I will admit I was hoping to hear Austin's voice to see if he's carried over that accent. Of course, like I predicted, that we were going to see Paul riding a sandworm, which was epic and awesome to see. A little bit of comedy in there, right? I didn't expect that to them to involve some comedic beats in the trailer. How long was the trailer, by the way? I think it was like 2 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 minutes. Okay, wow, close to 3 minutes. So a good trailer, not great. I don't think it did the best of job of really, and of course, this is the first trailer. So the first trailers don't always give away the story. They're really here to sell you on, this is big, this is the epic scale, these are the actors that's going to be involved, big name actors, and just giving you a sense of the epicness of what's to come. So I'm anticipating the next trailer is going to probably touch more on the story of it all. I'm familiar with the story, but as far as the general audience goes, so I would say as far as the trailer goes, I'm excited. This is still my most anticipated film of the year. I am very curious to see more marketing coming as the months go by. And we're going to replay it here in a second. But overall, I would give this a solid B. I would give it a B for a trailer. Put your letter grade, number grade in the chat now, and let me know how you all felt about this first trailer. I am so excited to see the continuation of Paul Atreides and getting more of Shani by Zendaya. We got more. I didn't expect so much Florence Pugh in this trailer, which again we're going to replay it here in a second. And there was some shots of Free played by Austin Butler that were in black and white. And I'm very curious if they're gonna, like, if those were flashbacks that we were getting for that. So overall, a B for me, but let me know in the comments what rating, what score, what got you hyped. Are you not hyped? Are you not excited? Let me know what you all thought about this trailer in the comments below. And let's go ahead and rewatch that thing. All right, let me replay it. I'm gonna probably turn the audio down on this rewatch and just kind of break it down for you all. So hold on, let me turn the audio down and let's get to it. Let's see here. Again, it felt like a sizzle reel at the start of the trailer, and then we kind of went into, obviously our shots here. So opening with Shani, like I told you guys up top, opening with them was probably a no-brainer, and seeing them kind of having their banter and them, building their relationship more. But again, these sequences at the beginning was just so quick paced and just, like I said, sizzle really type of effect to it, which I'm very curious for anyone that attended Comic-Con or CinemaCon. There's Florence Pugh there. If this was a trailer that they showed there, seeing the destruction of the war and all of the House of Atreides falling, Fury will rise, and that's what she said. Your father wouldn't want vengeance. A lot of Florence Pugh. I love Ernie. So this is what I was talking about. I know that his skin is like oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I know his skin is like known for being like pale white, but it looked like those shots were actually like flashbacks to me. Yeah, let me turn this down and get back to that shot here of Austin Butler. There we go. So again, I know that his skin is like extremely pale, but every time we saw him in this trailer, it looked like the aesthetic, like the actual shots were in black and white, which to me makes me think that these are like flashbacks of some sort, versus like the actual. I know he's gonna, obviously we saw him at the end of the film or the end of the trailer fighting Paul, which is gonna be a great battle. But yeah, these looks like flat. The color palette is so beautiful. Yeah, like I said, the action scenes, Leia Sadu. Oh, look at all this. These visuals are just excellent. See, there it is again. Every time we see Freed, Austin Butler's character, it's in black and white. Which again, I don't know. symbolically, if it symbolizes like he sees the world in black and white, or if it's flashback sequences. Let me know what you all thought about that. But every time he was on screen, it was a very curious color palette. Who's that? Oh, remember, like I said, guys, for those that are familiar with the source material, Lady Jessica has a baby in this film. So I wonder if that's her having her child, which that child is very, 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 yeah, I think she's having her baby there. And you see her eyes are, or is that Paul? Am I tripping? Is that Paul having a dream? I'm tripping, guys. I thought that was, is that her? Is that, I think that's Rebecca Ferguson. Let me know in the chat. That looks like, I wish I could reverse it. That looks like Rebecca Ferguson. You know, she's a Fremen, but I think she's having her baby there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we see Paul gearing up to ride the sandworm, which I anticipated being the money shot in the trailer, which it definitely was, and him preparing for that. And I love him and his commentary with Javier Bardem and their relationship that has developed since part one, which again, I think what Dune Part Two is going to do for those that maybe weren't the biggest fans of the original is going to make you probably appreciate it just slightly more, if not a lot more, because that was a perfect setup for what I think will be a great tie-in to what the first one did, which is setting up the characters, setting up the world, the politics, and all the different stuff that we have here. So I'm very, very curious on for those that maybe weren't the biggest fans, if they're going to maybe come around and maybe come to, you know, appreciate the first one more once they get a payoff in the second one, which, I mean, look at this, man. That's just something else. Him riding that sandworm. He's the one. He's the chosen one, man. And look at these shots. Again, there it is again. That looks like Gladiator, man. Are you not entertained? Which is, by the way, Gladiator 2, that cast is ridiculous. Yeah, man, I'm thinking that we're going to get a lot more of Freed from, especially from the 80s film. He really, Sting's character wasn't that heavily involved, but I think we're going to get some flashbacks of his character and his origins and him coming to power with him and his uncle raising him to take over the empire. So again, I might be looking too much into it or not looking to it enough, but the fact that every time we see him in this trailer, it's in black and white. Does that mean that we're getting flashbacks? Is that how he views the world in a black and white color palette? But a very obviously a creative choice to do that. So let me know in the chat, guys, what you guys feel about those sequences that we saw with him. Again, their romance continuing to grow. Oh, look at that. Looks like straight out of the Met Gala. That outfit there is badass. Goodness gracious, I love it, man. And seeing her being more of a villain, that's going to be great, man. I am so stoked to see Florence Pugh as a princess in this film. Speaking of princess, we didn't see the emperor, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have to, maybe he was in the end of the trailer. Oh, we got the romance between them two. Did you all see Christopher Walken? Did I miss him? Lady Jessica, you know, him obviously taking power, taking reign. And there's that epic fight that we're going to get between these two. It's going to be so dope. Yeah, guys, I don't think they gave us, I guess, you know, got to keep your, oh, it was 2.5 minutes, by the way. I thought it was a 3-minute trailer. Yeah, you see Christopher Walken's name here. Oh, and okay, Stephen Harris. Okay, I'm glad that Stephen Henderson's back in this one. But you see Christopher Walken, but I don't think, unless he was in those kind of sizzle reel, those quick shots, I don't think we saw Christopher Walken, nor I don't think we heard his voice in the trailer. Let me see here. This is about the revenge. Is she talking to her father? No, I think she's doing a voice recording or something. Yeah, man, I was hoping to see a shot of Mr. Christopher Walken, and just want to see his presence and see how he's going to be playing the Emperor, who's a very interesting character in itself. So, oh, she might have. Hold on, let me play. She might have been talking to her dad there. Let me see.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive?
Journey. Yeah, maybe she was talking to her father there, but I'm not gonna even embarrass myself doing a Christopher Walken impersonation. But like I said, I'm giving this trailer a B overall. I'm super stoked. It's still my most anticipated film of the year. I'm very curious to know what we're gonna get with you know, as far as the rest of the marketing, and see if the next trailer is probably gonna be more story based, because this trailer was just, again, as a trailer should do, giving you the scope and the scale, letting you know that there's a war to come, letting those that thought that the first one was maybe a bore fest or maybe not as action heavy will be definitely more action involved. I think the thing that I don't know what it is, but the thing that stood out to me is Austin Butler, and particularly all those aesthetics of the black and white aesthetic. And just he seems to be a character that's going to be very heavily focused on. And they're really building, at least from the trailer, they're really building this battle between Paul and Freed in a really interesting way, that they're giving us the backstory. That's going to be really great, because I think what they're going to do from a film perspective and a narrative, as Paul's gaining his trust with his friends and his people and learning their ways, we're going to be seeing at the same time, his character, Austin Butler's Free. They're going to both be building each other, building their legacy, building their empires, and we're going to see their journeys paralleling and them coming and clashing together. So I think that's going to be really cool to kind of build both of their perspectives, and one thinking they're the heroes of their own story. So that's going to be really, really cool to kind of build that up with those characters. Florence Pugh looked fantastic. I love her presence in this trailer, and just the aesthetic, man. It looks beautiful. It looks big, looks epic, and I'm here for it, y'all. So, hey, with that being said, let me get to the chat and read these final comments and call it a day, and we all get our rest of our days started. But I appreciate y'all joining me today on this discussion, trailer reaction of Dune Part 2. But let's get into the comments here and wrap it up. This actually makes me a fan of Austin. Nice. Not bad. That was 3 minutes. No, it was 2 minutes and 24 seconds to be exact. My interest still peaked, but I can't say the trailer made me. Yeah, that's why I gave it a B. It didn't blow me away, but it was still a solid trailer all along. I want to love Killer Elvis. Let's see. Justin was saying those fades to black was like half the trailer. Yes, what I'm saying. And again, I'm assuming this is more of like his backstory flashback. Rainbow Flyer, good morning. Hey, what's going on, Rainbow? Big fan of yours, by the way. I'm a subscriber of your channel because you cover a lot of great horror content, and I'm a big horror fan. So shout out to you and good morning. Mark gave it a B. But man, Justin saying, that being said, I don't want too much. Yeah. And like I said, that's the art of a trailer. It's just to kind of, build the excitement, give you a little bit of the tone. And I would anticipate the next trailer probably dive a little bit deeper into what we're getting with the narrative. We got a B minus. Oh, by the way, November gave it a B. Blurb Forever gave it a B minus. Pi gave it a B. So you guys are kind of like me, kind of that B range. Justin gave it a B minus. Voice gave it a B as well. Looks like Gladiator meets Lawrence of Arabia. It's fine for the first trailer. Third final trailer probably coming out October. Yeah. Which, by the way, second, third. Well, I'm gonna watch the second trailer, but third, fourth, TV spots, all that stuff, I'm gonna avoid. But definitely checking out the second one. Yo, that was hype. What's up, Leo? Yeah, I'm gonna have to see your reaction, man, to see how you reacted to it. The visual is just beautiful and movie. Yeah, it's like well said. Definitely like a moving painting, just visually stunning. That was Rebecca. Okay, it looked like Timothy for a minute, but I'm glad you guys confirmed that was Jessica Ferguson who was on the floor screaming. Which, like I said, I think that's her having that very weird baby of hers. That was her. Okay, cool. Rebecca and Timothy. Right, that's why I'm like, is that Timothy or her? Good catch. If not flashback, maybe black and white versions of different Jessica pause the color. Yeah, like I said, I think either it's how he views the world in black and white and just kind of sees it in one way, and there's no color or nothing in between. He doesn't live in the gray, or it is, indicating that we're going to get some flashbacks from him or something else entirely. What happened to Javier Bardem's career? He went from white hot to barely in anything. No, he's been pretty steady, in my opinion. Not only from this, but he's also going to be in Little Mermaid, and he's never. I mean, let's be honest, he's never been like big, movie star guy. I think he's had a really good career. He can do indie, he can do epic action, he can do family friendly with Disney. So I think his career is pretty good. He was just in what he was in a Bond film. So I don't know, Voice. I think I have to disagree with you, man. I think he's at the point of his career where he can pick and choose what he wants to do, and everyone knows he's a Academy nominated and award-winning actor. So I definitely think he's at the point where he just he does what he wants to do, man. So I think his career is in really good position, in my opinion. Didn't see him in the trailer. You talking about Christopher Walken? Yeah, I don't think we saw him either. Austin looks great. I agree. Leo saying excited for more action. I agree. Agreed. Ellie also, but yeah, he was a standout for me. Him and Florence Pugh, in the trailer at least. Yeah. Florence Pugh seems menacing. Yeah, I can't wait to see her, especially in that one outfit. Looks pretty badass. I wonder what's the runtime for the new movie. If I were to bet, man, 240. The first one was 2.5. I'd say 240 to 245, maybe pushing 3. We'll see. We'll see. But listen, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate you all joining me on today's live stream as we talked about more than Dune. But as Dune is pertaining to the conversation, we talked about the first one, the box office, the audience reception, what worked for me in the first one and all that stuff. And then we obviously had a great conversation about movies in general. We talked horror, sci-fi. Look, man, every time I come on here to talk live, you guys always bring a fun conversation to the table, and I appreciate y'all. With that being said, as far as the rest of the week, man, and I'm going to probably cut this out as far as just my trailer reaction to put it out there for those that weren't able to join us. But I thank you all for joining me today. Before you exit today's stream, hit the thumbs up, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and look forward to some Guardians of the Galaxy content in the next coming days. I have a full hour spoiler discussion that I did on my own, just breaking down the standout moments, what worked, what didn't work, post credits, ending, what next. I have a whole conversation about that coming in the coming days. Then I have a very, 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 very special guest that I shot a trailer or a spoiler discussion with that we'll be releasing in the coming days. We talk for over an hour, and I have some other things that I will be releasing as far as Guardians content. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, we're getting geared up for Sunday Fun Day, which is Barry episode 5. We have Succession episode 7 7. So that's going to be something to look forward to in the coming days. And listen, man, I appreciate y'all. 50K live stream celebration will be coming in next week or so, and then we'll probably combine that with a summer movie preview, breaking down all the summer blockbusters to get excited for and all that good stuff. So y'all have been awesome. And also too, before I leave, I want to thank all of you all for joining today, but a special shout out to Rims with the super chat she gave earlier, and Blurb Forever. Thank you guys for the super chat, showing some support in that way. But again, thank you to every single one of you all for being here, supporting the channel by liking, by commenting, by having a good time. So with that being said, you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace out.